Now then, Vinyl Monkey again. It's not as if I'm short of ideas for videos. What I appear to be short of at the moment is time. One thing and another, going away in the camper van, music festivals, gigs, fishing. Anyway, yeah, all good stuff, but I've got three sort of ideas banked up and in preparation for videos, which I think will be good and of interest. But they all need, and I've got four now, because my son gave me an idea last night. He thought in my last video, when I said eponymous, he thought I'd said posthumous when he watched it. Yeah, sadly my son watches my videos, yeah. Anyway, he thought I'd said posthumous, so he was quite surprised when I was saying, yeah, this is their first album and things like that. But I thought, oh yeah, that would be a good one to do. Best posthumous albums that I've got in this collection. So anyway, that's four ideas I've got banked up. But all of them are going to need me to do some listening. And that takes time. I like to do that properly. I like to take my time over it, listen to the whole albums at least once. And I just get started on something, and then I'm distracted. I was always easily distracted. My school reports always said that. Don't let this lad sit near the window. Too easily distracted. But I get distracted and I watch some YouTube videos, you know, the vinyl community videos, and then I see these contests, which I guess you're sick of me doing these now. I've done a few now. But some of them I think, oh, that's an easy, straightforward one. That's not gonna require me to listen for hours and hours to albums. I can just knock that video out. So anyway, I promise this will be my last contest one until I get onto my videos proper. These four ideas I've got banked up and sort of in preparation. So. But what I'm going to do is, it's a guy called Ron Haggerty, I think it is, Ron Haggerty. He seems like he's American. He seems like a heavy metal sort of fan. I've only watched one of his videos, but I'll watch some more. Heavy metal, not a genre, I hate to use that word, but not a genre, probably one of my least favourite genres of rock and popular music, but I'm sure there's good stuff in there which I'm probably missing, so I'll try to check out some of Ron's videos and get some recommendations. But he set this little contest which I'm going to have a go at. Before I do, I think I'd tell you how the gigs I was going to at the weekend went. So the last night of our Tall Ships Festival here in Hartlepool, headline act was the Wailers, who I'd last seen back in 1986, and yeah, it was great. There was a good big crowd there, really good atmosphere. I've got to say credit to the organisers, particularly the council, I suppose, as the sort of senior partner in this, that put this festival on free to everybody, and it was just great, just an absolute great atmosphere, and bumping into loads of people, you know, from Hartlepool, one of the biggest villages in the world. And yeah, so the Wailers, yeah, they were good. It was a real good set. Obviously, they've got tons of brilliant material to draw from, good musicians, the singer was canny. I think for me it seemed a little bit more, and it might just be me sort of getting older and a bit more sort of demanding in me thing, but it seemed a little bit more, I don't know whether the right word is sanitised, but a little bit more sort of lighter, not as heavy and dub heavy and not as maybe hard hitting as I recall seeing them back in 86, which of course wasn't that long after Bob Marley had died. But obviously different members, the band's evolved. I think one or two of them are sort of related to some of the original members. But good band, feel good night, great way to end the last main night of the festival. So really enjoyed that. And then the next day we were off to Scarborough to see Pulp. At the Scarborough Open Air Theatre, and yeah, the Open Air Theatre, I suppose I'd never been before, and I've been wanting to go to that venue. It's 8,000 people, so it's a big venue, But nowhere, on a plus side, nowhere in the venue is very far from the stage. So the view and the sound and everything were excellent. You were pretty close to the stage. But the word theatre, I suppose it suggests to me a slightly, lift in terms of the environment from the sort of arenas, which I can't stand, basically, the sort of concrete and plastic arenas. But essentially, the Scarborough Open Air Theatre, it's a bit like an arena without any walls or roof. In that it's just concrete and plastic. It's not particularly attractive. But the fact that it had no roof, did come into play, because towards the end of the support groups, the support group were great, by the way. Now I should have looked this up. Oracle Sisters from Paris. I think I've got that right. They were really good, really interesting. I'll have to look into them a bit more. But in the interval before Pulp, the heavens opened. It was an absolutely biblical storm. It came down. It went through our waterproofs within about 30 seconds. We were absolutely drenched, and this storm continued for 3/4 of an hour, right until the minute Pulp came on, when it subsided. But what a show, I've got to say. I've never seen Pulp live before. I don't even have their LPs. I've got 1 or 2 on CD, but I rarely listen to a Pulp album. But what a fantastic show. I mean, Jarvis Cocker is obviously a great showman, but the lights, the effects, the whole show was absolutely superb, riveting. 10 out of 10 for the show. It's up there with the Flaming Lips for me in terms of the quality of the show itself. So that was really, really enjoyable, despite being absolutely drenched. So that was good. But anyway, back to this video, Ron Haggerty's contest. What is it? Well, it's dead simple. Who's your favourite band? What's your favourite LP of theirs? What's your least favourite LP of theirs? And how many times have you seen them? Well, I thought about this. What was my favourite band? It's hard to say, but I thought I'd stick with current bands that are still active and still producing music and still touring, rather than bands which have folded up or died or whatever. And I think my favourite band, both in terms of live experience and in terms of listening, is Wilco, the Chicago band, which evolved from, I suppose it came out of the breakup of the alternative country band Uncle Tupelo, when the 2 leaders of that band went their separate ways, and Jeff Tweedy, with some members of Uncle Tupelo, formed Wilco, and Jay Farrar formed Son Volt. And I got into them because I was into the alternative, and still am into the alternative sort of country sound, and I liked Son Volt, and it was Wilco's second album, Being There, which I got into first. That was great, and since then I've got everything they've ever done, but most of them are on CD actually. Ghost is Born, The Whole Love, Summer Teeth, lovely album, Wilco the album, the Camel album as it's called, and my other CDs are actually down at me caravan, so I can't even hold them up for you. But in terms of what my favourite album is, this was a tough one, a really tough one, and I suppose the one I've been listening to a lot lately is Ode to Joy from, is it 2019? 2019, I think, Ode to Joy, and this is a really, really downbeat album. It's a very, very minor key, downbeat, but the lyrics and the sort of tunes which are sort of hidden in the murky downbeat feel of the album, absolutely superb. So I've been listening to that probably more than any other album, but I've been having a fresh listen to both CDs and LPs again, and I think my 2 favourites were between this one, Yankee Hotel Foxtrot, which was their 4th album from 2002, and this was the one where they really sort of went experimental. I mean, they broke away from the alternative country sound probably during their second album, and this, their fourth album, really experimental. I think there was disputes with the record company who didn't like it, didn't think it was commercial enough, and I think they changed companies and everything. But this is an absolute classic. I had this on CD, but I bought it on vinyl, and on vinyl it's a double album, and just really rewarding listen, beautiful. I mean, just if you wanted to listen to one track, listen to the first track, I Am Trying to Break Your Heart. Yeah, lovely stuff. But I did decide, and although the critics I think tend to go with this one as the sort of highest rated Wilco album, although the critics do that, I think my favourite actually is this one. This is Sky Blue Sky, with the great picture of blackbirds, starlings, crows murmurating. I think it's a Japanese photo. But anyway, this was the first album. This is from 2007, and this was their first album following the introduction of Nels Cline as their guitarist. And Nels Cline, from a sort of jazz avant-garde background, really adds something. I think you've got the lovely sort of Jeff Tweedy melodies here, but he injects some real power, frisson, whatever, into those melodies, and for me this is my favourite album. I just love the opening track either way. The track Impossible Germany, absolutely stunning. I mean, seeing that particular track with the chord changes, particularly in the middle. Is it chord changes or key changes? I'm not a musician, but the sort of changes that come in a couple of places through that really make the hairs on the back of my neck stand up when I witness that one live. But yeah, superb stuff. I mean, Wilco, I suppose that they're a mainstream band, but they're constantly experimental. They're the band that I think the Beatles' influence is perhaps more obvious in this band than most of the other bands I listen to in this collection. Tweedy is clearly heavily influenced by the Beatles, but they do take that sort of Beatlesque feel into all sorts of different territories, and I just think they're absolutely superb band. Great songs, great lyrics, brilliant musicians. And in terms of live, I've only seen the full Wilco band live twice. On another occasion I seen Jeff Tweedy playing with a different band with his son, and they were playing some of their own stuff, some Wilco stuff, and that was great. But the two gigs I've seen Wilco at, both absolutely brilliant, up there with some of the best gigs I've ever been to. And the first one was in a venue called the Rex in Paris, and if I've talked about arenas being concrete and plastic, well, this is at the other end of the spectrum. What a venue. Plush leather, sort of brown leather as I remember, sort of armchair type seats, a great hall, brilliant acoustics, not too big, a bar that wasn't taking your eyes out even by Parisian standards, and it was just an absolutely superb night and a superb experience. Brilliant. I'd like to go back to that venue again, but I haven't had whether I'll ever get the opportunity again, I don't know. The second time I've seen them was just last year at the Black Deer Festival, where they were headlining one of the nights, this festival in Kent. And again, just an absolutely superb set, and I just love watching Nels Cline playing the electric guitar. Look it up on video. I mean, it seems as if somehow, not only is his amplifier plugged in, it's as if he's plugged into the mains and the electricity is coursing through his veins as well. Just really, really good stuff. So that's my favourite band. That's Wilco. My favourite LP, Sky Blue Sky, closely followed by Yankee Hotel Foxtrot. My least favourite album, I haven't got it to hold up, it's down at my caravan. It's their first one. It's called AM 1995, and it's not a bad album. I don't think Wilco have made a bad album, but it's perhaps closer to, it's less experimental, it's closer to, unsurprisingly, since it was their first album, it's closer to the band that Tweedy had recently folded, Uncle Tupelo. Sort of country feel, alternative country feel, but a very, very good album, very nice album, strong songs, perhaps a stronger album than his partner in Uncle Tupelo, Jay Farrar's first Son Volt album. But anyway, that's debatable. So that's my least favourite album. That's AM, Wilco's first album from 1995. So that's my contest entry for Ron Haggerty as a contest. Thanks for watching. I will get some listening done. I will try and get back on track with my own ideas for videos. Cheers for watching. Ta-da.